And welcome back here to another edition of the Mass Podcast. Here, Charles Pryor, G. Just to kick things off, as you just heard, that was Joe Hayden recently on the Rich Eisen show right there. And the question was being asked right there going into this season, as we'll get into Joe Hayden in just a moment, the guy who's also looking for a contract extension this season, as he's at the end of his 3-year, $27 million deal. He'll be making about $10 million this year. He'll be accounting for over 11. As we take a look at, he will be accounting for this year over $11.9 million cap hit for the Steelers right now. And definitely, I'm sure he's thinking just like a lot of people who are outside looking in. I mean, try to apprehend it as a teammate and to boil it all down. I mean, yeah, there's still some hesitation, some voices right there with Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown no longer there. Just try to convince yourself, like, how did you really get better? Did you necessarily remove a distraction? But he's obviously got Ben Roethlisberger's back, as it seems like, and the team. And pretty much that's all it's been about, just trying to move forward. And speaking of moving forward right there, we're going to get to this in a little bit. But Mike Tomlin, he's going to be extended for the 2021 season. So pretty much, which I think is a genius move right there. Because if you notice, when I look back at the site, I didn't get a chance to find out the number details. I'll get a little bit of a report on that later on, hopefully. I think Dan Rooney won. Not Dan Rooney, Art Rooney, excuse me, not Dan Rooney. Described it a little bit more, but I think it's just smart when you look at Ben Roethlisberger. His contract pretty much runs for the 2021 season. And I think it's just smart in this regard, where it's just pretty much you're making a statement right now that you're having confidence that Ben Roethlisberger is going to finish out his extension when you really look at things. He's be the quarterback. He signed a 2-year extension. So basically, he's got like 3 more seasons left, and then he's gonna be playing through the 2021 season. Mike Tomlin will be coaching more than likely around that time. Will have his opportunity to match the second longest or tenured coach in Steelers history in the last 50 years. So I think that's a great style, a great stamp right there. Just pretty much just what that move tells me is that they we're gonna stay with the ship. We're gonna have a success with it, and for what reasons, if we're gonna go down, we're gonna go out swinging. We'll go out swinging. That's with everybody on that ship because be prepared. Probably coming up, there'll be plenty of changes, I'm sure, in due time if things do not get right. But yeah, I definitely feel like right now it's definitely a little bit of a message right there where it's just trying to say, let's keep these two together. Why break up what we have? But I will say the interesting thing is, too, let's not forget. I know I was talking to someone earlier, a good friend of mine off to the side. He was telling me that, remember, Mike Tomlin was a Rooney hire pretty much a support mainly. You got to remember. And I get that. But here's the biggest but I want to mention real quick. Let's notice how in recent time the relationship too, like the loyalty that Mike Tomlin and the rapport he's had with not only the Rooneys but Kevin Colbert as well. When you watch a lot of these guys, a lot of these conferences here throughout the season, how much rapport do we see between them? Don't get me wrong. Yes, they take a chance on a guy like Mike Tomlin, absolutely. But at the same time too. Mike Tomlin right now, at this point in time, he's earned his right to stay there. I think when we're going to look back at a guy like Mike Tomlin his overall tenure with the Steelers, when you really think about it, a guy who's went 125, 6-1, career 654 win percent. And then you look at, too, where his overall record in the playoffs, when we look at everything, and you want to see where he's been at, it just doesn't get any much better than him when you really think about it. This is a guy right here, when you really boil down things at the end of the day, when they're just doing real good, it's just really, he's done enough. No matter how many people always throw it back in his face, well, you started off those 2 Super Bowl appearances with Bill Cowher's team. You've also, we're looking at too, is that you were able to win the Super Bowl with Bill Cowher's team. So at the end of the day, when you really think about things, don't get me wrong, like I always say, I think at the end of the day, when you look at it and you look at any coach, is it any different from a guy like George Seifert? Technically, you could say, yeah, when he was with the 49ers, he clearly had legit reason to win that Super Bowl, Steve Young, Jerry Rice. But guess what? He had to add stuff to the 49ers as far as getting the ear of Edward DeBartolo and them and Carmen Policy when they had to put their brain trust together and pick up people in the free agency or trade for guys to finally get over the hump over the Dallas Cowboys. It wasn't necessarily Steve Young, Jerry Rice that beat that team. They had a lot of help, and you had a guy like a Deion Sanders. You had Burton Haister, who's doing good for quite a few years. And then not only that, they were just drafting masterfully. You had some good defense there. And you were just able to add pieces and shifts. Yeah, Ken Norton Jr. there, who's also right there. But yeah, I really think about it when you look at what he's did. It's just incredible when you really think about it, and you look at a guy right here who's got a career 8-7 postseason record. So, I mean, obviously that could be a little bit better, but I mean, at the same time, too, when you validate 2 Super Bowl appearances, you win one of those, you split one of those. I think at the end of the day, that's what really that matters. Did you at least deliver? So my whole point is, like I said, it may not have been his team they inherited. I mean, that was his team that he built. He's been trying to build it for a while, ever since, I want to say, like around 2012, where he's tried getting his team back to championship level. And what can you say? I think at the end of the day, no matter if it's your team or not, all I just want to know is, as an organization, did you get us to like the next level? Did you get us like further than what your previous predecessor did? And I think that's the bottom line with a guy like Mike Tomlin. I think at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, yes, he's done that. Yes, he has. I just think people just need to start realizing it's always be some troubling times, but you also got to look at it this way too. How many guys who've had their chances, and you probably want to give like the old Phil Jackson like thought process, where it's like, well, if I had this much amount of talent, like right here, if I had a quarterback like Ben Roethlisberger, or I had like that defense or whatever, I might be winning championships too. People may want to look into it. I mean, yeah, there was times where he lost to like a lot of bad mediocre teams in a stretch where they did not make the playoffs. And that was more particular, I want to say, within a span of at least nearly 5 years where that was happening. Because after that, they finally did start to settle down. But like I said, I really like this move right here. I like the fact that he's going to be with Ben Roethlisberger pretty much around at the same time. As long as Ben Roethlisberger does not bail and he was able to finish his contract, they're able to stay with it to the end. I have no problem with it. I think right now you're seeing the time is ticking down for this unit to get it done. If not, we're probably looking at somewhere in a new direction to move on. Again, the number to be reached is 312-209-2232. Again, that number is 312-209-2232. You can also follow me on Twitter at Brad Ritchie. You can also catch me streaming live right now on my Instagram, Men of Steel Nation. You can also check me out on my YouTube channel, Men of Steel Podcast. Just want to say a quick shout out real quick to Brian Diarlo. Just saw him give him a nice quick like. Thank you very much, Brian. And also want to say very special people who's also been liking this so far. Thomas Steed, if I'm saying that correctly, and Dave Wright. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining in tonight. Thank you very much. Feel free to leave a comment throughout this podcast. Just want to welcome those of you guys that are tuning in. And right now, I'm going to be going to a training camp more than likely in a couple of weeks. So it's not going to be tomorrow, as I've been advertising recently. Got a little bit of a change of plans. We'll be trying to get there soon and try and get a little bit more up front. I want to get a little bit more as far as like in the details right now with other stuff as we go in on the opening drive. Let's also look at it too. Like I said, one of the things that's be a little question right here going into this season's training camp is pretty much it's going to be officially starting tomorrow. Mark Kabley was writing an interesting article as far as like which stars should we expect to develop the up and comers as far as in this season's training camp. And the list goes as simple as like this. We got tight end Xavier Grimble. And then you also got Ola Adeniyi, outside linebacker. Quarterback, second year, Mason Rudolph. Wide receiver, rookie, Deontay Johnson. Outside linebacker, Sutton Smith. Running back, Trey Edmonds. Defensive back, P.J. Locke. Defensive line, Isaiah Buggs. Tight end, Zach Gentry. Or tight end, Evan Raylor, I want to say. So I got to tell you right now, I think the most obvious one when I'm looking at this list, who I think may stand out a little bit, I'll probably have to say Mason Rudolph at this point in time. I mean, right now, the way I'm getting a hunch going into this preseason, I think it's almost Joshua Dobbs. His backup job is to lose. And it's good right here, just making the comment real quick. Just want to say a little shout out. Thank you very much, Ham, for going here. He was saying he was on it last year for the same reason. It's just precautionary reasons. And yeah, he is definitely alluding to right now, just for those of you tuning in, as everyone soon heard not too recently today that TJ Watt had to be put temporarily on as a precaution on the pup list right now, and that was due to like the last team rep of the day, which was a running drill. So it's a tightness in his left hamstring. The only thing is with the pup list, just to remind everybody, if he is on the pup list at the conclusion of the preseason, usually it's required that I think that they miss up to like about 6 games, and then they'll go check on their progress throughout and see if they're eligible to come back or not, depending what kind of shape they're in. So thank you very much for tuning into that. Definitely, I mean, right now, I think I'm a little bit concerned. Maybe not as much, but I will say this. Injuries right now, especially in the game of football, and yeah, look at it. I think of a guy like TJ Watt, before we go off, not to go off track here, I must say that this is nothing to turn a blind eye on. This guy is obviously performing as a top peak right now. Obviously, when you look at TJ Watt, I mean, he was definitely first in sacks last year. When you look at the overall guys' numbers, as far as everything, I mean, TJ Watt, when you look at overall his development with the Steelers, and you look at it, and overall, when you really think about things too, I mean, a year in his rookie year, it was 6 interceptions. So for like in the way the for interceptions, but started off his rookie year with 7 sacks, going up to 13. And then more importantly, his tackles, which has been the impressive thing. He was 5th on the team tackles in 2017 for tackles for loss. Excuse me, tackles for loss. He was 5th, and he was ranked first in that category for tackles for loss with 12. And as far as like total tackles, 7th his rookie year, 5th his second year. So let's just hope that it's nothing to be hampering throughout like the season right now. I mean, again, people always want to say you got that team-friendly environment, great. You don't have to worry about Le'Veon Bell or Antonio Brown, but again, let's not forget you still got to make sure as a unit, everyone is all hands on deck, staying healthy as possible, and that's pretty much the name of the game right there. I just don't feel you can just turn a blind eye on this. Yes, precaution. Let's hope that's nothing more to it than that. And speaking of which, Mike Tomlin, who actually was telling, NFL Network's was Didi Kinkawala, excuse me, he was saying that Mike Tomlin said he predicted it will be a short stay on the pup. We shall see. But anyway, just to get back on opening drive real quick over here. As far as like the stats here, I'm going to look at Mason Rudolph, number 1, only because when we look at the reports earlier, too, throughout this offseason, it almost seems like Ben Roethlisberger maybe hinting at that he's looking at Mason Rudolph a little bit better so far. It's yet to be determined at this point, but I will say it's definitely still a lot more time to move on and just to see where it goes from here. So let's not forget this, but like I said, I definitely feel right now when you look at it, you got to be a little bit more cautious to the win and see how it goes in the preseason. Again, I think there's a little bit more pressure on Josh Dobbs right now. I mean, who's in like the 3rd year of his rookie contract, and see what he continues to do. So I mean, this guy right now is probably playing for his backup job more so than anything. Then guess what? He goes to the foul year, and if you go down to the number 3 role, my chances are you're probably not going to be so much more with the team. I'm not going to say that, but I think it's definitely an interesting scenario to play out. I think the other guy too that I'm going to look for on this list that Mark Hadley also will point out. I think also while I look at, say, right now, I think you have to look at outside linebacker Ola Daney, who actually did not come around until like the Chargers game, even though it was a loss. But this is a guy right here who a lot of people see similarities to a guy like James Harrison, the way he tackles, the way he performs. I think this is a guy right here who's an undrafted rookie and seems to be like one guy that seems to stand out. I just feel like those two guys, if you're to ask me, in that order, I would say Rudolph Oladani. And then last but not least, I'll probably say Deontay Johnson. I mean, TJ Watt is still something to be reckoned with in the Steelers brass for right now. But Ryan Switzer, the only thing is where I get a little concerned with him is his returns. I think he's a decent guy that can catch some good plays every once in a while, but I think he's just a little bit inconsistent. But we'll see. Maybe in the second year he'll catch on. He's got a lot of hunger. He's got a lot of humbleness. And that's one of the things you can ask for. Also, too, before we wrap up opening drive, according to Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Gary Dulac, quarterback Artie Burns is doing 800,000 roster bonus on Sunday. It looks more than likely they're going to play him once they're able to put on the pads on Sunday. And he's going to be counting for about over $3.05 million against the cap for this season. This is guy right here, and I got to give shout outs to you, Brian, who when I had John here as my guest earlier on this podcast, and we're going a little bit back and forth as the reports were. If he was able to survive like mini camp, let alone training camp. And I definitely feel like right there, I mean, so far, I mean, he said like you like the way I think they looked at him for like, what he was going through with family or whatever. And they just seem to have like that little feel good support for a guy like right now at this point in time. And Artie Burns. Artie Burns seems to be like the guy who's in the doghouse when you look at it. And right now, I mean, when you think about it, when you look at overall like what he's been able to do and his contributions, even though it has not been pretty the last few years, I mean, his numbers definitely kind of declined like the last few years as far as the pass deflections and stuff. But Artie Burns, at the end of the day, right now, who's in the final year of his rookie deal, right now, at this point in time, he's going to be making a base salary of $958,000, just barely under $1 million. So, like I said, he'll be counted for over $3.05 million. But if they were able to release him somehow, and they do decide to release him before that Sunday, it'll be $1.29 million in dead money, and they'll be having a cap savings of $1.75 million. So keep that stuff in mind real quick. All right, let's go into fair or foul here. And just thank you once again for everybody for tuning in here. Usually on Mondays and Wednesdays, like I said, I'm usually just shaking it up here just a little bit. Thanks for everybody for staying patient with me on this schedule here as we got a little bit more stuff to get into as we just get ready to wrap this up at this point in time. So one of the biggest topics I want to begin with on fair or foul here, John Harbaugh. And I was reading like an article on The Athletic real quick over here. And this was an article very quick here that was written by Dan Pompei. And they're scouting Lamar Jackson. This is summer of 2017. This is like the journey leading up long before he got drafted, when he was getting scouted. And as far as like if they're going to have a replacement possibly for Joe Flacco. Remember, Joe Flacco, by the way, he started pretty much each season, the beginning of the season, as the team started for 11 straight seasons. a pretty darn good resume. And of course, ever since the retirement of Ray Lewis, what's happened? He's been to the playoffs one time. He is 1-1 in the playoffs. And eventually his time just ran out. I'm not going to necessarily miss him in the division, but I got to tell you, this Lamar Jackson right now, who right now, someone once told me off to the side, is that this is not someone you want to be taking an eye off right here when you look at it. I think right now, what you got to really look at is he just needs to figure out the passing game. Because the biggest things I'm saying about this guy and Lamar Jackson, when they were looking about him, that humbleness, one of the main things that stood out. And no doubt about it. I mean, he's definitely earned that. For him to come in as a starter of the season, when you look at it, I mean, he went 6-1 as a starter. Yeah, he did not get his first win in the playoffs. A lot of people were questioning why Joe Flacco was not in, but there was a ton of times where Harbaugh and everyone was asking his staff on the sideline, including Joe Flacco, who should be the guy. They all kept saying Lamar Jackson. I remember this is a guy right here who came out of Louisville, and you look at a guy like Dwayne Jones, who was looking at it, who's one of the guys, Dwayne Jones, excuse me, who was scouting this guy. And they said, well, the three essential virtues, humility, hunger, and smarts, are emphasized. Smarts in the context of teamwork is defined as understanding people. And they said there was a story about him from his principal back at Boynton Beach High School in Florida. They asked what we remember about Jackson. He said that a story about Jackson was crying after losing a playoff game. He wasn't just crying for himself. He was crying because he thought if he played better, the team advanced. The team that was going to play Division II football might have had a chance to get a Division I opportunity. That just shows you how much you care for his teammates. And then just looking into stuff. And overall, and yeah, I mean, what can you say about that? I mean, this guy was just definitely viewed as a winner, I mean, in his college career. And a lot of people just really felt like that this guy was the real deal at that point. So, and then you look at overall when they scouted him leading up to the draft and did like a little private interview with him around April. They took a chance on him, got the final pick of the first round, the surprise pick. Now it just goes to show you right now, look at what's paying off so far. We'll see what he does in the second year as a starter. But I got to tell you, we might just see, aside from Baker Mayfield, I mean, this guy will probably be the new kid on the block in the division. Browns still got to prove a lot for themselves. But when you look at the stuff like down the stretch, I think what a guy like Lamar Jackson, even though he was running a lot, he was still in those 6 games when you really think about things and you calculate things overall, and you try to think about what he was doing in that regard, and you just start to think he was still averaging for about 200 yards per game, which is still not bad. Taking care of the ball, obviously, had 6 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I mean, his quarterback range sure worked, but at the same time, I mean, this guy, at the end of the day, I mean, his only loss was to the Chiefs, but still beating teams along the way, like the Browns, the Chargers was the biggest one, which was going into the Christmas weekend. And then also his first game being the Bengals. I think they won that one by a field goal. So Fair found that his way they're running their offense around Lamar Jackson changed the way offenses play today. I'll probably have to say Fair on that one. I really believe so. Because obviously this is definitely a fantasy more driven league as far as offense when you think about things. I don't think you can definitely ignore that. But at the same time, too, this is something right now where a lot of people start to tend to feel where the momentum and the shift is happening. And that's what I feel. So I'm going to go Fair on that one. Now let's go into TJ Watt. Missing some significant time in the regular season. I'm going to probably have to say Fair on that one. I mean, yeah, this is definitely a precaution with TJ Watt. But again, knock on wood. I mean, I don't care how good you perform. At some point, your body's going to have a toll of injuries. Great work ethic. I'll probably say he's going to miss probably maybe at the most, maybe like 4 games this year. We don't know if this is anything that's something that's going to be re-aggravated throughout the season. The hamstring. Something that's going to be a little bit questionable if it's going to work out or not. But I expect him to be fine. But like I said, I'll probably give it no more than 4 games total. He'll miss the season. He'll probably be available for at least 30 of those games. He'll start maybe like 12 of those. And what we shall see. But, I mean, other than that, he's definitely had a good track record of staying healthy so far. Pretty much. Also, too, fair or foul, Joe Hayden will receive a contract extension as he got this final year of his 3-year, $27 million contract to where he's making $10 million this year, over $11.9 million cap hit. I'll probably have to say foul on that one. I mean, yeah, they're optimistic. I mean, they're talking. His agent is Drew Rosenhaus. He's entering his 10th year. He's not been a Pro Bowler since 2014. He's 30 years old. I think this might be a play-for-play year. You never know. I think, if anything, with a guy like Joe Hayden, you got a guy who's 30. I mean, if he does get extended, it's going to probably be for about, 2 more years or a 1-year extension. I mean, the Steelers overall, too, they got to make some decisions to make. When you look at overall your total cap space on here, you barely got over $1.09 million in cap space. This can be a little bit difficult to make. I think, if anything, the guy who's going to probably get the contract extension, in my opinion, is going to probably be Mike Hilton. Anyone. I mean, this is a guy right now who, at this point in time, when you look at, he signed his $465,000 tender. Mike Hilton, who, by the way, who ranked third in interceptions in his rookie year, then fifth the following year, which was last season, but he was able to recover 2 fumbles. So he had a total of 3 takeaways. So he had 1 more takeaway than he did his rookie season. Always seems to be helping deep. Very good with the deflections. This is a real guy that's a good hustler here when you look at it. And I just think, if anything, I like Joe Hayden. Great shutdown corner. I think it's just going to probably be no more than 1, maybe 2 years. I doubt it. But again, when you also look at the age difference, too, when you really think about this, the kid's going to be 25 years old. So you'll probably extend him to like his late 20s, maybe like around 29 years old, I would imagine. 29. So that would be my guess. I don't know about anyone else over here who's tuning in. Feel free to leave me your comment. I'm going to go with fair on Mike Hilton getting his contract extension as we go into this year. And that's going to do it. And that's going to be a wrap for this edition of the Mass Duel podcast. I just want to say thank you very much for everybody, for those of you who tuned in. Feel free to take a moment to give a few likes and to share some of your comments. And be tuning in as always. Definitely appreciate the love. 1 week away from the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And speaking of which, we'll try and get onto a little bit during the offseason too. We'll debate here and there. I'll probably save it for next week. Troy Polamalu, since Ed Reed is a first ballot Hall of Famer, fair or foul that Troy Polamalu is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think it's going to be very close, but I think ultimately he gets the edge. We'll see on that one. But like I said, again, if you guys want to tune in for the future, again, hit that number up. It's 312-209-2232. Again, that number is to be called is 312-209-2232. You can always follow me on Twitter. And also catch me streaming live on Instagram, Masteel Nation. Check out my YouTube channel, Masteel Podcast. And plus, also, too, when we look at it, when you look at it, too, that's all I got to say about that right now. As I always leave you. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Don't be trolling, be rolling. I called.